Nefertiti, the queen consort of Egypt. The year was around 1336 BC. Inside the royal city of Akhetaten, the palace stood strangely quiet. The walls still carried bright images of a queen with a tall blue crown, standing beside the king as if they ruled together. Yet servants whispered her name less and less. Scribes avoided writing it. Within only a few years, her face would remain on the stone, but her story would almost disappear. No battle marked her final day. No royal tomb clearly recorded her death. It was as if one of Egypt's most powerful women had stepped into silence. That silence became one of history's greatest mysteries. How could the most famous face of ancient Egypt leave behind almost no certain ending? Most people believed Nefertiti was simply the beautiful wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, remembered only because of an extraordinary sculpture found thousands of years later. That picture was never complete. She was far more than a beautiful queen. She appeared in royal art, performing duties usually reserved for kings. She may even have ruled Egypt herself, and some historians believed her disappearance was not the end of her story, but the beginning of another identity. The journey explored how beauty became political power, why one royal family shocked an entire civilization, and why the greatest mystery surrounding Nefertiti was not how she lived, but who she became. Ancient Egypt had already stood for more than 1,000 years before Nefertiti entered history. The empire stretched along the Nile, where yearly floods brought life to the desert. Temples honored hundreds of gods, and priests controlled enormous wealth and influence. Every part of society rested upon tradition. Ordinary people rarely questioned those traditions. Farmers depended on the river. Craftsmen served the temples. Soldiers protected the borders. Everyone believed that the balance of the gods kept Egypt alive. Then came a surprising moment. One royal family attempted to replace almost every traditional god with the worship of a single sun disk called Aten. Few rulers in Egyptian history dared to challenge religion itself. Into this dangerous world came Nefertiti. Even her birthplace remained uncertain. Some believed she was born into an important Egyptian family. Others argued she arrived from a foreign kingdom. The truth stayed hidden, making her rise even more remarkable. Sometimes history remembered not those with the clearest beginnings, but those who changed the rules. After marrying the young pharaoh Amenhotep IV, she faced her first great test. When the king abandoned Egypt's old religion, powerful priests lost influence they had held for generations. Supporting such a revolution carried enormous risk. Yet Nefertiti stood beside him in every public ceremony. Temple walls showed her striking enemies, riding chariots, and making offerings directly to Aten. Such scenes had almost always belonged to kings alone. Why would artists break centuries of tradition unless reality itself had changed? The greatest obstacle was not another kingdom. It was resistance inside Egypt. Closing temples threatened wealth, power, and belief itself. Every decision created new enemies. One ancient hymn declared, "You are the living Aten, creator of life." Those words reflected a revolution unlike anything Egypt had seen before. Then came the turning point. The royal court abandoned the old capital and built an entirely new city in the desert, Akhetaten. It rose almost from nothing. Palaces, temples, roads, and homes appeared with astonishing speed. Nefertiti did not simply live there. She helped shape its public image and royal authority. Her greatest achievement reached beyond beauty. She stood beside Akhenaten almost as an equal ruler. In official art, her size often matched his. She wore crowns once reserved for pharaohs. She appeared alone, performing sacred rituals. Such images suggested authority that few queens had ever possessed. There was another little-known detail. Nefertiti and Akhenaten had 6 daughters, and royal art showed the family embracing and kissing their children. Earlier Egyptian royal images rarely displayed such open family affection. These scenes revealed a surprisingly human side of ancient royalty. Yet greatness carried a price. The religious revolution weakened long-standing alliances with powerful priests. Foreign affairs appeared to suffer while attention focused upon the new faith. Letters from distant governors asked desperately for military help, yet many requests seemed unanswered. Then, suddenly, Nefertiti almost vanished from surviving records. Did she die? Did she fall from favor? Or did she assume a new royal name and continue ruling after Akhenaten's death? Historians still debated those questions because the evidence remained incomplete. The final chapter unfolded in silence rather than spectacle. Akhetaten slowly emptied. Later rulers abandoned the city. Statues were broken, names were erased. Egypt returned to its older gods, as though the great experiment had never happened. Perhaps the ending had always been hidden inside the beginning. A revolution that challenged thousands of years of tradition, created enemies powerful enough to erase much of its own memory. The mystery from the opening finally revealed its meaning. Nefertiti's story disappeared not because she lacked importance, but because later generations had reasons to forget her. Even so, history never erased her completely. Without Nefertiti, Egypt's most daring religious experiment could not be understood in the same way. Her images transformed ideas about queenship, showing that royal women could exercise authority far beyond ceremonial duties. Her famous bust became only a small part of a much larger legacy. History judged her unfairly when it reduced her to beauty alone. Her face survived, her voice did not. Yet sometimes silence preserved a greater mystery than any written record ever could. So the greatest question remained open. Did Nefertiti truly disappear, or did she continue ruling Egypt under another royal identity that scholars had not yet proven beyond doubt? Perhaps the most remarkable thing about Nefertiti was not that the world remembered her face, but that it still searched for the woman behind it. What do you think? Was Nefertiti simply Egypt's greatest queen, or was she secretly one of its forgotten pharaohs? Share your view in the comments, and subscribe for more journeys into the hidden lives that shaped the ancient world.